Talking about Pete Rose, the MLB might finally now, less than a year after he's passed away, it sounds like they may lift the ban on him that would let him become eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame, which, of course, outside of the gambling thing, like on the field, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Nobody would argue that.
Right.
We had Joe call in. Joe says he basically feels like it's too little too late. They should have done it 10 years ago or something like that, especially with all the ads for betting that you get now. Chris also says, I knew they would do that to Pete too late, says Chris. And Aly, I feel like you're a little more tepid on the situation than many of us who feel like Pete should be in. But I feel like you could agree with this, though, that like Pete made some bad choices. He shouldn't have been betting on his team. But because he did that, his entire rest of his life is tainted by that thing that he did.
Yeah.
Like he literally never got to see himself go into the Hall of Fame because the first thing, even though like when he passed away, was the controversial baseball player.
Right.
It's not as much he was the hit king. It was, banned from baseball.
He's rebranded as a guy that was almost like a not straight up guy, like he's just not doing things the right way type of deal. And it's unfortunate that he kind of got branded in that way. But again, these are your decisions. You do need to take ownership for them. But like you said, at the end of the day, he had an amazing impact on the game of baseball. Was he an amazing player? Absolutely. But you have to take the good with the bad with a guy like Pete Rose. And so I feel like there has just been a move of the needle more recently, probably due to the fact that he just passed away, where people have gone back and been like, wow, we really weren't empathetic to him at all. Yeah. We were actually completely non-empathetic towards him. We didn't like him, and so we didn't even want to think about the idea of him being in our Hall of Fame. We kind of ignored his stats and just used this as an excuse to kind of avoid putting him in there. But now it's kind of given us all that like hindsight 2020 deal where we're rethinking it. Like maybe we shouldn't have been so harsh on him. Yeah, I think there's a lot we can all learn from how he was treated, how he had been treated. I think there's also something that we can learn for our own selves about, like, especially with cancel culture has been a big thing in recent years and whatever, that like, in a way, this can make you live in fear of making the big mistake because that could end your life in the public eye or just totally change how people think of you. And that's scary to think about. But what a huge relief in life is, even if you have made that big mistake, is that God he doesn't have that taint your entire life from that point forward. He doesn't write you off. He doesn't take you out of the Hall of Fame because you did something stupid once or over and over again for a long time. Yeah. There's always hope. God will always bring you back. Unlike baseball with Pete Rose, it's now too late for him. But I feel like for each of us, as long as we're still around, there's still grace from God that we've made big mistakes, but God is not going to make that define your entire life. There's more to you than that. And all we have to do is ask for that forgiveness and ask for that new future with him, and he'll give it to you. Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of grace. And my favorite line from a Reliant K song is, it says, the beauty of grace is it makes life not fair. Even though we think it's like, this is the way that it should be. We earned, this horrible punishment or whatever, and we shouldn't be given this amazing gift. It's like, that's what grace is. It is an amazing gift, and it makes things it doesn't make them make sense because it isn't fair, but that's the beauty of it. Yeah. It's we should all be relieved that God doesn't judge us as harshly as we judge others and as MLB judged Pete Rose. If you want to know more about a relationship with God and what that means and that forgiveness and that freedom, start talking to him wherever you are. Go to RadioU.com/free gift.
While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.